we are seeing gradual return to prosperity. The National Working Committee is doing a very good job, and I'm just happy with them. And I feel that you should be happy with them too. Yes, a little conflict in various states. Let's set up any committee of service to look into lingering problems in some states. Appeal to these party leaders in various states to please be calm.
All right, then. Let's get some more insight on the outcome, perhaps a way forward for the APC. I'm being joined by the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Felix Morka, is live for us here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So congratulations. At last, your party is able to hold a NEC meeting.
Are you congratulating us?
I'm saying to you.
We will accept it.
Do you think
you should congratulate us, actually. You should.
Yeah, because it's been difficult for you to
No, it hasn't been difficult.
But you held one at last.
No, it hasn't been difficult to hold a NEC meeting. I mean, we scheduled a NEC meeting last year, but we had to postpone because, all of the alignments we needed to make the meeting happen were not, there. Look, it's not that easy to negotiate a convenient date when you're dealing with, so many leaders who have very busy schedule. Our president has been very busy, traveling, making the case for Nigeria, and all the other leaders in their respective, roles are also very busy. So even just negotiating a convenient date takes time. But anyhow, I think, today has come, and we held our meeting, and we are very pleased with the outcome. It was well attended. The energy was very high. I think that, as you heard some of our leaders speak, each one took the time to speak to issues of the party, internal issues, issues about the state of the nation. And overall, I think the assessment was really upbeat.
So the reason why it perhaps become more of a worry about whether or not you hold a meeting is what the law says about the statutorily how you should conduct the affairs of the party. Then it concerns people who are not even members of your party if you are not following the dictate of your party's own constitution, which says and stipulates when and the frequency of the NEC meeting, for example. That is why it's a worry. Is it not a worry for your party?
Ideally, we would like to have our meetings on schedule. Ideally. But sometimes things don't turn out that way. Like I said, I mean, the many factors, at play when you want to bring the entire leadership of the party, at least the highest level leadership. And don't forget that, NEC is about the highest decision-making organ of the party outside of the National Convention. And, the National Convention doesn't happen every day. It happens, every 4 years, unless there's a special convention. But in between conventions, NEC is that body that is empowered to make decisions for the party. NEC in turn, also cedes some of its authority to the National Working Committee to make decisions, that cannot wait for the convening of NEC. The point I'm making, Shehu, is that, I think we tend to blow this things out of proportion. Now, let me say this. NEC has the authority to recommend even amendments to the Constitution, to the National Convention. So when we speak about these timelines as though, yes, they're constitutional, they're there, they're supposed to guide the party, and we respect them, but sometimes it just doesn't fall in line. That it doesn't fall in line does not mean that the party is without governance or is lacking in quality governance. It doesn't mean that. Anyone who knows APC knows that since under the leadership of this national chairman, Dr. Ganduje, he has made it mandatory that the party meets, at least once every week at the National Working Committee level, once every week. And so a party that meets once every week and occasionally twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week, deliberating on issues as they arise. I don't think anyone should suggest that party is not in any way.
Confirm to me, right or wrong,
yes,
that the NEC, the meeting before this one, had delegated the NWC to act on his behalf and given it some powers of NEC.
Some limited powers.
Yes, but as a lawyer of long years standing, delegation of powers doesn't mean that the statutory meeting schedule as provided by the Constitution shouldn't be met. Those are 2 different things. No, and I'm not sure at that NEC it states that you should not hold meetings as long as NWC. And the reason why I'm asking this question and why it is critical is that you need to know where your party stand in the society in Nigeria. It is the party that runs the affairs of this country. And as such, if your party is not able to hold abide by its own constitution, how can your party, or how should it be respected? Because you have a standard to which Nigeria should hold your party. And these are the reasons why we're asking, it's a constitutional breach if you do not follow your party's constitution.
No, that's a totally false presentation on the logic of our NEC meeting and the party's, if you will, leadership, especially the government. We're discussing APC, the party. We're not discussing the National Assembly or the executive branch.
Are those running the party? Are those running the government not in your party?
No,
are they the leaders or not?
No, please, let me answer your question. They're members of our party. But the point I'm making, Shehu, is that you keep saying we couldn't hold NEC meeting. No, we didn't hold NEC meeting until now.
You failed to hold the NEC meeting?
No, we didn't hold NEC meeting. We scheduled our NEC meeting last year. Like I said, the alignment we needed wasn't there. We postponed. So, in any human organization, there are circumstances that arise that warrant postponement. That, postponement is not cancellation. It's not saying we will not hold that meeting.
But you did not hold it based on what the party constitution says. That's the point I made. And I'm glad that you're a lawyer and I'm asking you things that relate to the law of your party.
And I'm answering you. And if you listen, you will get the point I'm making, which I'm going to repeat. I said to you that last year we scheduled a NEC meeting. We couldn't hold it, meaning we postponed it. Today, we have held the NEC meeting in honor of our Constitution. Now, I also said to you that, yes, you keep waiving the Constitution. That is our Constitution, we respect it. But the operators of the Constitution are party members and party leaders who operate the Constitution. They created the Constitution and they operate the Constitution. As I said, NEC is the highest decision-making body outside of the National Convention. So, for example, if NEC wanted to tinker with the Constitution like they did today with respect to the composition of members of NEC, NEC is able and is empowered by the same Constitution to recommend to the National Convention, that such changes be made. For example, today at the NEC meeting, it was agreed that a committee be set up, a committee led by Governor Mai Malabuni, to look to review the composition of membership of NEC under the Constitution, with a view to expanding that membership to include other authorities. For example, it was said in the conversations, people like the former, Senate presidents who today are not members, former principal officers of, say the National Assembly, who today are not members of NEC. But the idea is that with this committee, they will discuss it and decide who are necessary to be included in the membership. NEC has that authority to make changes to to propose changes to the Constitution, which ultimately is approved by the National Convention. So when a meeting becomes impossible, members of NEC were fully aware that we didn't hold this meeting, but a meeting was scheduled. Yeah. And today, we've met that requirement, and we're very pleased.
Yeah, without having to belabor it, but you do know that it's also, if you set a standard for yourself, it's also good to be held by the same standard, not the other standard. But I don't want us to belabor the matter so that we can focus on some of
but on that final point, on that final note, so, without belaboring the matter, we must understand. First of all, this government came in under 2 years ago. And, we scheduled a meeting, which didn't happen. I've seen a lot of, negative commentary by even, members of, our party who are still members of our party, making a lot of, very, sad commentary about this, suggesting, but if anything was going wrong in our party, we will not have 18 people, members of the National Assembly, who are pouring in from the opposition into our party. Because if you see all of them, all the reasons they gave is because of the instability in their party. And these are people who are well, meaning, who are making informed decisions to leave the opposition parties to come into the APC. On the last count, about 18, members of the National Assembly into our party. Now, I don't think we're at that level that suggests that there's anything untoward going on in our party. It's just a meeting we postponed that we have had today.
What can you tell us about some other outcomes deliberated behind closed door?
Yes, well, some of them I've already touched upon. For example, the meeting did, today recognize that the country, when this president took power nearly 2 years ago, was, heavily challenged, especially on the economic front, on the security front. Now, this president, took over at a time when things were really difficult for the country. But the conversation was really, very real today. People speaking from, various sectors and giving, what you call a state of address, both on the economic front and on the, national security front. And, one after the other, they laid out clear evidence, indications, verifiable indications of progress across the sectors of the economy. And, even some who held, who were very concerned in the beginning about, say, the, removal of subsidy, about, the floating of Naira, today, came forward to say that, they're really pleasantly surprised that things are swinging, in the right direction. So there was a lot of realistic conversation about what's going on in the country. And at the end of the day, the NEC unanimously passed a vote of confidence on the president, urging him to do even more than he's already doing to ensure that, Nigerians begin to feel fully the benefit of the reforms that he has started. And I must say reforms that, other presidents before him simply preferred to just, push down to the next president, whereas he took the bull by the horn and has, brought this country now on a path, and not just of recovery, but, a position for better growth.
Were members and the leaders of your party able to tell, were you able to tell yourselves the truth where you are also failing as a group running the affairs of this country? No, like I said, the meeting was, like a very, I think, sober reflection. It wasn't anything that was, upbeat in terms of, gloating or celebration. People were very, clear. They laid out areas that, needed improvement. Even on the economic front, the fact that, we are not where we need to be, but we're on our way there. And so, I think that taking stock of progress shouldn't be, just to focus on, what remains to be done. There's a whole lot
that remains to be done. The president himself, in his comments, emphasize that he is working hard, trying to open up, various, fronts to, tackle the economic problem, tackle insecurity, and actually, bring, more development to the
Because
country.
it's going to be important, rather than pat yourselves on the back and think that you're running the most fantastic government in the world. It's also better to look at ways by which areas that things are really not going well, like budget performance and the rest of it, and the state of the economy, and how the shoe is pinching some Nigerians.
Absolutely.
But let me also ask, your party, as stated by the national chairman, said that the party inherited over 8 billion naira in debt, and this is owing to litigation issues. How are you going to, did the party at the NEC meeting agree on how to offset these bills?
Well, the debt, as you just mentioned, came mostly from, legal fees. Because when, as a party, you run elections, primaries even, sometimes, lead to litigation. And the party, bears financial responsibility for, quite a good chunk of some of those bills. So, but as the national chairman said, we're working to, negotiate with, all of the parties involved to see how we can bring this down.
So you are owing lawyers, simply?
Basically, just fees for, services rendered, especially for, primary cases, but also, election challenges. But this figure was what was inherited. That's not the actual now, because, as he said, a national legal advisor and a committee that was set up of the National Working Committee has been working really hard with all of the parties to, renegotiate and find ways to bring this down. So, it's coming down. But today, our financial statements were approved by NEC. And within that statement, yes, there are...
What is the financial state of the party as presented today?
What is the
financial state of the party? The bottom line, the baseline of your party's financial state as of today as presented to NEC?
The baseline is good. It's good.
You're in deficit. If you are owing 8 billion in legal fees, I can imagine what other areas of your finances will look like.
Our finances are good. What the chairman did today was, this is NEC. When we go to NEC, we report from the last NEC to the present NEC. So the chairman laid out that figure, which, is trending now, as the, what was the liability that was, inherited when he assumed office as national chairman. But that is not, the full picture. It's just saying, but of course, I know the media has picked that up as, a point to discuss, but which is fine. Because at the party as well, this national chairman, works hard to be as transparent with the leadership as possible. And that's why all of the facts, were presented to NEC today, and which were considered.
I'd like to know, when the party, the NWC in this sense, sent out the notices of this meeting?
I don't have the exact timelines, but adequate notice was provided.
When you mean adequate, what kind of timeline? Is it based on the stipulated timelines?
I can find out when the notices were, sent out.
It's supposed to be between 14 to 21 days.
That's not out of my own,
So the reason I'm asking is that former President Buhari, for example, said he couldn't attend because the notice only came yesterday to him. It was sent to him on Monday, arrived only yesterday. Someone like Malam Nasir El-Rufai had said he was not going to attend because he has not seen, at the time that he spoke, he has not seen the notice of the meeting, and it's supposed to take a certain number of days. It meant that quite a number of people, former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amici, was obviously absent, and a series of people were absent. And it raises a very big question mark into the cohesion within your party and some of the underlying issues that is bedeviling your party.
No. Today, it was a roll call of, eminence of members who attended this meeting today. The same way notices were sent to El-Rufai, I believe, was, how notices were sent to these other members who got their notices and attended. Many of them don't live in Abuja. They made plans and traveled to be at this meeting today. If El-Rufai, wanted to be at the meeting, I bet you, he would have come.
Same with Amechi.
He's a member of, by the way, and again, let me not say this, because El-Rufai, I don't know, I'll have to check, whether he's a member of NEC or of caucus. I think he's certainly a member of caucus, but I don't know that he's a member of NEC. I mean, I stand to be corrected.
So, but he was not at the caucus meeting yesterday.
Is the caucus meeting you're speaking to?
No, I'm speaking to...
No, he wasn't at the caucus meeting.
Usually, some of the caucus meeting precedes the
NEC,
because yes. you make some decision.
The agenda
that will
of NEC
is the NEC meeting.
Yes, correct.
So if he wasn't at the caucus meeting, he said he had not received at the time that he was speaking.
Look, I can't speak to El-Rufai's account. I mean, I've not talked to him and he hasn't talked to me, and I don't know exactly what he's saying or when how
does your party receive some of the criticism coming from?
We receive it. I mean,
about the state of your party, the running of the affairs of the country, and how things are in your party at the moment.
Our party is running, as efficiently as possible. Not that it's running perfectly. We're running the party as efficiently as possible. Shehu, I think that the evidence is out there. I mean, are you going to compare the party APC with some of the opposition parties and the mayhem going on within those parties? Look, perfection is an ideal. Everyone strives to be perfect. We are not perfect. But, our party is running as cohesively as possible. And where there are problems, we acknowledge it. The president today at this meeting was very clear. He said that, the National Working Committee, under the leadership of NEC, must take, more steps to bring people who are disagreeing in the party together to create, more committees or strengthen existing committees.
How are you doing
to address all that?
How are you doing that?
First, we have, standing committees on, standing reconciliation committee, of the party that is populated by, eminent leaders of the party who have mandates and are often, given assignments to go tackle cases where we have issues within members or within chapters of our party. What the president was urging, NEC and the NWC to do is to even, escalate that effort to ensure that, many of these cases where we have issues are brought, within, conversations and reasonable settlements so that the party can continue to, forge a united front. So, but the presence of that does not mean that the party is, lacking.
Lukman is speaking and saying that things are wrong in your party, and El-Rufai is saying that things are wrong in your party, and Amechi is clearly unhappy with what is going on in the party.
Four individuals.
Are you worried?
No, please. Yeah. Our party has millions of members.
I'm talking about the caliber of these persons, Mr. Morka.
Caliber.
These are not just members of your party.
Shehu,
they are leaders.
We have
founding members of your party.
Shehu, please. We have members and leaders of equal or even superior caliber in our party who are participating in the governance of the party and in the activities of the party.
So it doesn't matter if an El-Rufai is aggrieved.
Those are your words.
Amechi is aggrieved. I'm asking, does it matter?
Please, let me answer you. Whether it matters or not, that's your language. As I said, El-Rufai, former Governor Rotimi Amechi, anyone else, Lukman, these are citizens of Nigeria. Under our constitution of the country and of the party, they're free to express themselves. But, when people speak from, this, from a grievance-driven, sort of thinking, you can hear that. I don't want to go, personal with anybody, but when people have a grievance and they want to express it, that is fine. We listen to it.
It is a matter of how they were being treated and perhaps speaking.
How was Lukman treated? How was El-Rufai treated? How was Rotimi Amechi treated?
El-Rufai, for example.
No, please.
As a ground.
These individuals have a right to, engage as they choose. It's their freedom. When they express an opinion, I think it's wrong for anyone to take their opinion and frame it, against the opinions and the views and the decision of the,
That's
generality of the party.
question. Are you, as you're a key member of the NWC, yes. If you're unhappy with something about the ongoings in the party,
and I will express it.
Does it make your opinion less?
But I have not said that anybody's opinion is less important. I have not said that El-Rufai's views are less important. I'm saying that when somebody has a grievance and you speak, in the consciousness of your grievance, doesn't mean you are necessarily the most rational in your conversation. Sometimes you can be irrational. Grievance can drive you to irrationality. And I think that some of the comments I've been hearing recently are not, quite frankly, formed in that stellar, state of mind, by El-Rufai. I think that he needs to really take an advisory. And, this is somebody we all respect, former governor of Kaduna State, El-Rufai. But I think that when you begin to, speak and, attack the party, if El-Rufai was, a serving member of this government, I doubt that, this arguments he's made recently, he'll be making them. I doubt that very much. Even some of the critique he's offered of the performance of the administration, everyone, even analysts and experts, are, building towards consensus that the economy is beginning to show, sign of, life and, vibrancy in the direction that we need it to go. Are we there? We're not. But that's not a reason for anyone to speak in a manner that is just dismissive of the efforts, the very valiant efforts of this president. I think that would be just cheeky and wrong.
Felix Morka, he's the National Publicity Secretary of the APC. Thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate it.
Always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.